And welcome back to Channel 9 Live here at Ignite 2018 in Orlando. And with me, I have the honor to have with me Jeff Woolsey, Principal PM of the Server Group.
Thank you very much. It's
How
a
you
pleasure
doing,
to be
Jeff?
here. Oh my gosh, I'm having a blast. This is an amazing week.
Fantastic. So, what are we talking about today? I think hybrid is big.
Hybrid is huge. It's been a massive week for cloud. If you look back at the keynotes, I was listening to Scott and Corey and Aaron and just dozens and dozens of new things being announced today. Being in the Windows Server team, we are very focused on hybrid connectivity and making it easy for our customers to adopt hybrid when they're ready. And it gives me an opportunity. Let me switch to a slide for just a moment to talk to you a little bit about our cloud strategy.
Okay, absolutely.
Is that good?
Yes.
So
yes.
one of the questions I get asked all the time is, I see what you're doing in Azure. That looks amazing. I'm going to build new apps in Azure. I totally want to take advantage of AI, machine learning, data analytics, all the cool stuff going on there.
Yeah,
but
the new stuff.
But also there's stuff that I do have to have run on the cloud, on premises. And even our CEO Satya, he jokes about this quite a bit, but it's true that the speed of light is actually a challenge. There are some things they're going to stay on premises because it needs to be next to a specific piece of machinery, or it needs to be in a specific environment for compliance or regulatory reasons. And so we understand the importance for on-prem as well. And so when you look here, you can see we've got Azure, we've got Windows Server WSSD, and Azure Stack. And Azure Stack it's fantastic because it's literally about bringing Azure to your on-premises environment.
That's right.
So when customer says, I want to write an application, a cloud-native application that I can adopt and develop and run locally, and then I can pick up that application and just deploy it in Azure or Azure Stack, and it just works without any code change, you see the aha moment go on.
Yes, that's going forward. That's the future.
Absolutely. And then you get folks that say, but you know what? I still have some applications that are still critically important. And you know what? These are older applications. And you know what? They still fall in the traditional model. I need to run virtual machines. I need to, maybe I don't even have the installer disks anymore. I need to keep these things running, but they're critically important. Or I just have simple applications that, guess what? They're going to continue to run VMs for the foreseeable future. But I still have concerns about latency and things like that.
But it's also about getting ready for the future. So it's one thing to be running things on-prem.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and you're exactly right. Let me just get it onto a modern system. And in fact, right before you saw Carmen up here was talking about hyperconverged systems, and then we're seeing huge interest and adoption of hyperconverged systems because people are realizing they're looking at their infrastructure and they realize I got some older servers. In fact, I was doing a little bit of research on this, and the average age of a server used to be about 3 to 5 years.
Yep.
And after looking at this further and taking a lot of look at numbers and a lot of analysis, come to the realization that servers now on average are about 7.5 to 8 years old, which means there are some old servers out there. So people are now looking at, how do I upgrade my on-premises servers? But when I do, I'm going to go likely hyperconverged because I want to take advantage of software-defined compute, storage, and networking all in the box. I want to take advantage of super fast flash. We had made some huge announcements this week, some industry-setting world record numbers with Intel. And by the way, I want hybrid connectivity. And maybe I stay on premises and maybe I don't use cloud, or maybe I want to plug right into cloud. And I want to make sure that when you're ready to go to cloud, whether it's today or whether it's 6 months, it's a couple clicks away.
That's right.
And so when you look, for example, at the pillars that we have for Windows Server, you'll see that the very first one is hybrid.
Yes, which is something we almost forgot to talk about in the last couple of years.
Well, it's really funny because our customers go, oh my gosh, that one is so critical to me. In fact, it's something I've been asking all week long at my sessions. How many of you are going to be completely and totally on premises? And I see some hands go up. Then I say, how many of you are going to be completely in the cloud? And I see a few hands go up.
Yep.
And then I say, how many of you are going to be hybrid? And it's a sea of hands. And to me, I look at it's really a continuum. Yeah, there'll be a few that are fully on-prem. There'll be a few that are fully in the public cloud. But the question is, it's a slider.
That's right.
There'll be some that are tilting more one way. There'll be some that are tilting the other way. I think over time, more people will move and adopt more cloud.
But it's going to be fluid, so people can do back and forth.
Absolutely. And the thing we're seeing right now is both pies are growing. And so you look at our pillars. Hybrid is critical. Again, Carmen was just here talking about hyper-converged, so I'm not going to steal any thunder there. And of course, we continue our innovation going on with security and application innovation around containers. In fact, one of the things that I have to quickly shout out was we showed for the very first time this week, something I've been very excited to talk about, was our Windows Admin Center plugin for containers. So now in Admin Center, you can actually get into the event viewer, you can actually see the process, you can actually stop containers and actually get inside and do debugging of containers.
Get the
right
logs
from
of what's
Center.
running inside.
Yes.
That was fantastic, yes.
So we're making a lot of things easier. So I know we don't have a lot of time, but the one thing I really wanted to take a moment was to talk about Admin Center and what we're doing in terms of hybrid.
Okay.
First of all, a huge shout out to everybody that has downloaded Windows Admin Center. If you see this is Admin Center, and this is our new console for managing Windows Server. And this is really the future of Windows Server management, and it's being completely reimagined. So for example, what you see behind me, in fact, is the new storage migration service that allows me to migrate storage and data from my old servers onto brand new servers, and we literally manage the whole process for you. It's been incredibly hot the entire show, and the thing I keep pointing out to everyone is all of these features, all of the GUI, all of the administration is done through Admin Center. If you're looking for this in Explorer or something else, you're not going to find it. It's all available through Admin Center.
But for the IT folks and operations folks that are behind us, and the ones that like to have their hands dirty, this is a front end to a PowerShell engine, correct?
Yes. So Admin Center, everything it's doing is calling through to PowerShell. So it's communicating via PowerShell, and if PowerShell doesn't exist, to WMI, to the remote server. And so Admin Center, we have over 1.7 million servers already under management, and if you haven't downloaded this yet, you absolutely should. So one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about also is Admin Center is really our console for hybrid integration. And this is really scratching the itch that that a lot of people have here, which is, Jeff, I see what's going in Azure. Absolutely, we are putting things in Azure, but how do I make it easier to connect my on-premises environment and use Azure and these as one fluid cloud?
That one click you were talking about.
Exactly. So let me talk about a bunch of things that we announced this week here at Ignite, and you gotta start taking a look at. First of all, the Azure Network Adapter. So imagine you're a school or a small business, or you're in an edge deployment. We've only got a couple of servers, but you need connectivity into Azure. You want to get connectivity to PaaS resources or IaaS VMs or SaaS resources. Well, ExpressRoute may be a little bit too big. It may be too heavyweight solution if it's just a couple servers. Well, then it means I got to go buy some hardware and buy, it could be expensive. Well, with Azure Network Adapter and Admin Center, a couple clicks and boom, we set up a point-to-site VPN right into Azure now, so you have secure connectivity to access your Azure resources. And people are like amazed. It's just a couple clicks and boom, you're there. Next, we have Azure Site Recovery. So Azure Site Recovery has been around for some time, but now we have direct integration with Admin Center that makes it easier than ever before. Simply click on a VM, go to the More drop-down box and click Protect VM. In one click, your VM is replicating up into Azure.
Okay.
Who doesn't want one-click business continuity and disaster recovery? So that is hot. By the way, both of these Aaron demonstrated in the keynote, Corey Sanders' keynote. Then we have Azure Backup. So wouldn't it be great if I could actually point my Admin Center console at an OS and say, hey, you know what? Instead of trying to back this up and deal with tape or deal with, who knows what type of spotty backup situation perhaps in a branch office, say, you know what? I'm just going to back this up into Azure.
Not just branch office. This, I find that this would be perfect for small, medium companies that may not have the infrastructure for off-site backups and off-site disaster recovery.
And it's super flexible. You can configure how often you back up. You can configure retention policies, and it's literally a couple clicks. Fantastic. Next, we get to Azure Update Management. So people tell me, if I've got some servers here, I can go into Admin Center and I can go and manage and update servers individually, or through Admin Center, you could say, you know what? I want you to be managed through Update Management in Azure. So it gives me a deep link that takes me right to the Azure Update console, and you'll see all of those servers, and I can say, here's your updating policy, or here's how you manage it, and you can see them all in one location. And again, you could have multiple servers across multiple locations, completely distributed, all managed through Azure Update Management.
So no longer needing to deploy large infrastructure and only to support the
Again,
update.
we're trying to make it easy so you don't have to use the Azure infrastructure to help you with management. And then finally, Storage Replica Azure integration. So huge shout out to my partner Ned here. Storage Replica is something we introduced in Windows Server 2016. This is actually asynchronous and synchronous replication in the box. So you can have storage, and it runs on any storage. Storage replication is storage agnostic, will replicate it from one site to another. Well, a lot of customers say, hey, you know what, that's great, but I don't have a secondary site, and I'm not ready to, spend millions of dollars to do that.
We got one for you.
Or exactly. Or I have one, and you know what, I'm trying to get rid of it because it costs a lot of money. I'd really like to be able to replicate this into Azure. And so Ned's been working on this, and guess what? Now we have Storage Replica Azure integration. Again, now we have an admin console integration, and it walks you through the process of configuring a virtual machine up in Azure IaaS and configuring replication and syncing up the partnership, and so you're now getting replication up into Azure. So look at that, network adapter, site recovery for VM protection, you get backups, you get update management, and storage replication Azure integration. Right there in the Admin Center console.
It's hybrid.
It's awesome stuff.
It's the full meal deal.
And then of course there's one other big one, which is Azure File Sync we announced last year. Azure File Sync has been extremely hot because you basically say this file server will tier all of its files up to Azure. And you basically have one configuration. You say, how much of this file share do I want to keep unused? So if this is a 20 terabyte file share and I say, you know what, I want to keep 10% of this free, that says, okay, 2 terabytes will always be free. And it will tier everything up into the cloud. Okay, well now we have upgraded this. We support up to 100 terabytes per file share with Azure File Share. So that's just some of the examples that we have done in Windows Server 2019 with our integration. And with that, I know there's just so much.
There's so much to talk about, and security always part of it. And as you mentioned at the beginning, application intervention for anything that's new going forward with Stack and Azure.
Yes.
Jeff, thank you so much for spending the time with us.
My pleasure. It's been a blast. Thank you to all of our valued customers and partners that have been there this week. It's been just an incredible show.
That's great. Well, thank you very much. And for you with us, we will be leading to a breakout session on automating tasks using Cloud Shell and PowerShell. So thank you very much. Live from Channel 9 here at Ignite 2018 in Orlando. Thank you.
Thank you.